The wind howled through the shattered windows of the abandoned concert hall as a desperate survivor gripped a heavy sledgehammer. Outside in the freezing streets, men were killing each other over rusty kitchen knives and jammed pistols. They scavenged empty hardware stores, completely blind to the absolute motherlode of survival gear sitting right in front of them. In churches, school auditoriums, and ruined hotel lobbies, people were burning this priceless treasure just for a few minutes of warmth. What they failed to understand was that the dusty grand piano in the corner was never just a piece of elegant furniture. It was a highly engineered vault of precision materials designed to withstand apocalyptic levels of mechanical stress. When the world falls apart, a piano is worth infinitely more than a vault full of firearms. Today, you will learn the shocking truth about this hidden mechanical masterpiece. You will discover how 4 elements inside this wooden box can keep you fed, warm, and alive when absolutely everything else has failed. Let us strip away the illusion of music and dissect the anatomy of pure survival. The first hidden treasure will completely change how you secure food and defend your perimeter against desperate intruders. A standard piano is a terrifying beast of tension and strength, holding a secret armory within its belly. It contains approximately 230 individual strings. This is not ordinary metal you find in a collapsed city. This is high-carbon steel wire. In the advanced engineering world, it is known as music wire, drawn and tempered for maximum tensile strength, elasticity, and extreme fatigue resistance. Pound for pound, this is the most formidable wire you will ever hold in your bare hands during a total societal collapse. A single piano string can easily support between 150 to 300 pounds of brutal tension depending on its specific gauge. This makes it drastically stronger per diameter than fence wire, picture-hanging wire, or anything you could ever rip out of a residential wall. You would need to scavenge a highly classified aerospace facility to find a cable with a comparable strength to weight ratio. These strings come in an incredible, calculated variety of gauges. You get everything from razor-thin treble strings to massive, thick wound bass strings. This precise variety is exactly what gives you a massive tactical advantage in a lawless world. Different unpredictable survival scenarios demand different gauges, and this single machine provides them all unconditionally. The exceptionally thin treble strings are the ultimate snare wire for trapping elusive prey. They are incredibly strong, capable of holding desperate, thrashing small game without snapping under pressure. More importantly, they are so thin they become virtually invisible on a dark forest game trail. Unlike soft copper or generic craft wire, this springy high-carbon steel maintains its loop tension perfectly. It never collapses flat when an animal brushes past it. A single piano grants you enough premium snare wire to build and maintain a massive trap line of 30 or more deadly snares. This creates an automated, passive food production system that works tirelessly while you sleep. That single wooden box provides enough raw material to feed your entire group indefinitely, while others starve. But securing food is only half of the equation when the world descends into violent chaos. You also need absolute, uncompromising security. The medium-gauge strings serve as superior, unbreakable tripwires for perimeter alarms around your hidden shelter. They can hold immense tension across incredibly long spans without sagging in the middle and giving away your position. They resist rust and corrosion fiercely, surviving brutal weather conditions. Their dark, thin profile makes them completely invisible to looters in low-light conditions. Then, you have the thick bass strings sitting at the bottom of the iron plate. These are a brilliant 2-for-1 survival package engineered by master craftsmen. They feature a solid steel core wrapped tightly in a thick, continuous copper winding. By carefully unwinding them, you immediately harvest a long strand of heavy steel core wire and a separate, highly malleable length of pure copper wire. Both materials are independently crucial for rebuilding off-grid electrical infrastructure or conducting emergency repairs. Your survival armory does not stop at trapping and perimeter security. This wire is the unbreakable foundation for creating vital hand tools from absolute scratch. You can easily twist this high-tensile steel into aggressive, flesh-tearing cutting implements. By securing a length of this wire between 2 sturdy wooden handles, you instantly create a highly effective improvised wire saw. This desperate tool will easily cut through heavy wood, thick plastics, and even soft metals using a simple back-and-forth friction motion. It is slower than a factory-made steel blade, but it is an absolute lifesaver when no commercial blade is available. It is also remarkably compact, allowing you to coil a powerful saw right in your front pocket. With a bit of heat and patience, you can shape this wire into durable fishing hooks to pull life from empty rivers. You can form it into precise lockpicks to bypass scavenged doors and access hidden supplies. You can bend the thinnest gauges into sharp surgical needles for emergency wound closure when hospitals no longer exist. You can twist it into reliable, high-tension springs for mechanical trap triggers. You can even braid multiple strands together to forge a multi-strand cable that rivals commercial rope in sheer strength at a fraction of the weight. A single piano provides a comprehensive materials library that single-handedly solves trapping, security, fishing, cutting, medical suturing, and mechanical binding. However, this miraculous wire is absolutely useless if you cannot manipulate, puncture, and secure it. This brings us to the second shocking component hidden deep inside the heavy action mechanism. You will soon realize that the heart of the piano holds an entire blacksmith shop waiting to be claimed. Deep within the heavy wooden block of the piano sit the tuning pins. There are exactly 230 of these thick metal cylinders gripping the wood. They are forged from hardened blued steel. One end is sharply tapered while the other is squared off to accept a heavy wrench. For decades, they have gripped the laminated hardwood with unimaginable friction to hold back tons of force. Pulling them free requires immense leverage and pure physical effort. Once you pry them loose, you are not holding musical components. You are holding a master collection of over 200 pre-made steel tools. These pins possess the exact size, shape, and extreme hardness required for brutal survival tasks. In their raw state, a tuning pin functions immediately as a heavy-duty steel awl. With simple hand pressure, the tapered end effortlessly punches through thick leather. It pierces heavy canvas-dense wood and even rigid sheet metal without bending or shattering. This turns you into a capable leather worker and gear repairman in a world without tailors. You can easily punch precise holes for heavy stitching. You can fashion durable belt holes, create vital grommets, and securely lash together massive fabric shelters to survive the coming winter. The squared end perfectly accepts a socket wrench, transforming the pin into an indestructible improvised fastener. When driven into scavenged timber, they act as permanent dowel pins. They will hold your primitive structures together with terrifying strength. However, the true immeasurable value of these pins is unlocked when you introduce them to fire. These small cylinders are premium raw steel stock specifically designed for amateur blacksmithing. Each pin is roughly 2.5 inches long and 1/4 inch thick. When heated, glowing red in a crude forge and hammered against a flat stone, they magically transform. You can forge razor-sharp knife blades to dress wild game. You can hammer out aggressive chisel points for detailed woodworking. You can shape heavy-duty fish hooks, indestructible nails, and custom drill bits. You have over 200 blank canvases made of steel that refuses to deform under heavy impact. This is not a musical instrument at all. It is a complete pre-packaged blacksmith starter kit waiting in the darkness. Once you have secured your metal, you must tear into the delicate heart of the piano action. Here lies the third miraculous material that most ignorant survivors would toss into the fire. Tucked inside the hammer's dampers and key bushings are several pounds of ultra-dense wool felt. Do not confuse this with cheap, fragile craft store fabric that falls apart in your hands. This is industrial-grade, heavily compressed wool designed by master artisans. It was selected for its extreme density and relentless consistency. It is built to survive millions of violent hammer strikes over a century without ever losing its shape. Outside of a highly specialized textile factory, you will never find wool fabric of this premium quality in a ruined city. In a freezing wet survival scenario, this dense wool is pure gold. When freezing rain saturates cotton or synthetic fabrics, they immediately suck the heat from your body and invite deadly hypothermia. Piano felt operates under a completely different set of natural laws. Because of its complex fiber structure, it traps microscopic pockets of air that water simply cannot displace. Even when soaking wet, this premium wool retains an astonishing 80% of its thermal insulating value. You can extract this felt and line your improvised footwear to save your toes from frostbite. You can stuff it into thin gloves and pack it around your vital organs to survive a brutal blizzard. Beyond warmth, this felt hides a highly effective medical secret. It is an elite wound packing material when modern trauma kits have vanished. The extreme density of the felt provides perfect compression to stop severe arterial bleeding. Furthermore, the natural lanolin hidden inside the wool fibers possesses mild antibacterial properties to fight off deadly infections. Unlike dangerous cotton balls that stick to flesh, this felt actively wicks moisture away from the wound surface. When a deep laceration threatens your life, piano hammer felt is a superior life-saving substitute for modern medical gauze. It is cleaner than dirty rags and massively more absorbent than torn clothing. You can cut it into precise discs and thick pads to create comfortable cushioning for broken bone splints. It serves perfectly as a reliable pre-filter to screen out heavy sediment before you chemically purify dirty drinking water. You can even cut tight gaskets from it to seal improvised plumbing in your off-grid shelter. A few pounds of this magical fabric fulfills vital supply chain roles that nothing else in the wasteland can touch. But all of this wire, steel, and wool is physically anchored to the true behemoth hiding inside the wooden cabinet. To claim the final and most valuable prize, you must prepare to shatter the very spine of the piano. The true spine of this musical beast is a massive, indestructible fortress of high-grade cast iron. This colossal metal skeleton is known to musicians as the harp, but to a survivor, it is a gold mine. It was painstakingly engineered to flawlessly withstand an apocalyptic 18 to 20 tons of combined string tension without ever bending or warping. In a majestic grand piano, this single poured piece of premium iron weighs a staggering 300 to 400 pounds. Even a smaller, unassuming upright model hides up to 250 pounds of this precious metal in its dark interior. In a brutal post-collapse society where raw metal dictates who lives and who dies, this plate is an absolute motherlode. While ignorant looters fight to the death in the streets over a rusty crowbar, you will quietly claim an endless supply of pristine iron. Extracting it requires a heavy sledgehammer, protective gear, and pure, relentless violence. You must smash the plate with bone-shattering force to break its spirit. Unlike cheap modern steel, cast iron does not simply bend when struck with massive trauma. It violently fractures into heavy, jagged shards along its natural geometric stress lines. These shattered iron chunks instantly become the raw foundation for an elite, post-apocalyptic manufacturing empire. You can relentlessly grind the sharp edges into devastating combat hatchets, heavy-duty survival knives, and wood-splitting axes. A large flat section of this plate laid securely across a thick wooden stump creates a perfectly stable, unyielding anvil for all your future blacksmithing needs. If you manage to build a high-heat survival forge, you can melt these dense iron fragments down and pour them into packed sand molds. This advanced technique allows you to cast completely custom tools, heavy-duty fasteners, and structural brackets that no one else in the wasteland can acquire. Beyond warfare and construction, this cast iron possesses miraculous thermal properties that will save your family from freezing to death. Flat, unbroken sections can be safely positioned over a roaring open fire pit to act as an elite, fire-safe cooking griddle. It distributes heat perfectly across your wild game and will never burn through like the cheap sheet metal scavenged from abandoned car hoods. Furthermore, dense cast iron is the ultimate off-grid heat storage battery. If you heat a heavy chunk in the fire and wrap it tightly in thick, protective fabric, it will continuously radiate intense, comforting warmth for hours. You can safely bring it inside your improvised shelter to act as a powerful space heater or a lifesaver bed warmer. It provides life-sustaining heat with absolutely zero risk of deadly carbon monoxide poisoning while you sleep. In a desperate trade economy where high-quality metal is the ultimate currency, a single shattered piano plate makes you incredibly wealthy. It represents a massive stockpile of superior iron that would take a normal survivor months of dangerous city scavenging to match. You now possess a self-sustaining metalworking supply that will continuously produce tools, weapons, and highly desired trade goods. As the collapse deepens and the panic escalates, the value of your hidden iron vault will inevitably skyrocket. The piano was never truly an instrument of entertainment for the elite class. It was a brilliant, heavily armored survival cache hiding in plain sight for over a century. It is a tensile engineering marvel, a massive metallurgical vault, and a premium textile reservoir disguised beneath a beautiful, polished wooden veneer. The next time you step into an abandoned, looted building and see a grand piano covered in dust, you will not see a useless musical relic. You will see a mountain of high tensile wire, a lifetime supply of medical grade wool, a bucket of steel tools, and hundreds of pounds of forging iron. You will smile quietly to yourself, knowing that your survival is permanently secured while the rest of the world perishes in ignorance. If you want to master these forgotten survival secrets and absolutely dominate the coming collapse, you must take action right now. Do not let this vital, life-saving knowledge slip through your fingers while the apocalyptic clock is ticking. Subscribe to Primal Methods immediately and hit the notification bell so you never miss a critical survival strategy. Share this crucial transmission with your trusted inner circle before the grid goes completely dark.